Hello and welcome back to Red Meat for Dinner. My name is Colton, and today I just wanted to make a quick video talking about a question that's been on my mind a little bit recently and something that's been brought up to me over the past year. For those who don't know, I've been on a pretty strict carnivore diet now. I'm going on my 11th month, so I've been doing this just over 10 months. The main question that's been been brought up to me and also been kind of working around in my brain, and we'll discuss it, is the carnivore diet worth it? Okay. For those who don't know, the carnivore diet is essentially a strict ketogenic diet. It's an even stricter form of a ketogenic diet. So essentially it's only animals. I don't eat any plants. I eat pretty much zero carb outside of some of the carbohydrates that are in certain animals, things like seafood and things like that. But no plants and no sugars, no carbs, no processed foods, nothing like that. And when I say mostly strict, just be personally, I still am not 100% there yet. All right. I've been doing this for a little while, but I still have my vices. I'm not perfect. None of us are. Maybe Anthony Chafee, he's pretty good. He's pretty perfect at this, but I still drink coffee, and I know that's a big deal for a lot of people. I know in the community we talk about coffee all the time, and how it can affect things in different areas. We may not get into that today, but coffee is one thing that I still do cheat with, and then the other thing is nicotine gum. Okay, I used to be a smoker. I used to vape, and what got me off of all of that was nicotine gum. So I still do chew nicotine gum and drink coffee. Those are the only two things outside of my completely animal-based diet that I cheat with. Right? I don't drink alcohol or anything like that. So just wanted to kind of preface all of that and kind of talk about my last 10 months here and kind of answer the question on whether or not the carnivore diet is worth it. Before I get started though, I want you to leave a comment down below. If anybody out there has done the carnivore diet, I want to know, one, how long you've been doing it for, and two, is it worth it up to this point for you? Okay, so let's say you've been doing the carnivore diet for 3 months, right? Let me know, 3 months, and then also tell me at this point in month 3, has it been worth it so far? Okay, if you've been doing it for 2 years, I want to know, is it been worth it? We can kind of see where we're going with this. I'd imagine the longer people are doing it, the more worth it is to them. But I am curious to see, people's mindset, right? Because there's sacrifices in everything. This isn't something that's easy to do. It's simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. Okay, especially in this modern culture today, where we have junk food and addictions everywhere, all around us, all the time. It's really hard to get away from it. And I think a lot of people who start doing carnivore, you start to realize how indicted everything is in our life with just crappy foods, right? It's really hard to get away from. So, is the carnivore diet worth it? Well, from my perspective, it is. And I will go into a little bit of why I think it is, and also some of the trade-offs, right? Some of the negatives. It's not all positives. There are definitely sacrifices involved, like we mentioned, but let's kind of dive into that a little bit here. So I've talked about this in other videos, but the reason why I even continue to do this is because how much it radically changed my health. All right, I'm not one of these people who is just doing this because it's like a fad or because, people say it's good or anything like that. I prefer to go eat a pizza, to go eat some pasta, to go have some garlic cheese bread or something like that. That sounds amazing. I still think those things taste good. I don't know if that's going to ever go away, right? So I would much rather be eating the junk food, for my own brain. My brain would rather necessarily be eating the junk food, okay? So it's not like I necessarily want to do this strictly because, I only like to eat meat. It's the only thing that tastes good to me. No. I'll be realistic. I would love to eat junk food, okay? But then the trade-off, okay? So the trade-off is my health has basically done a complete 180. And it's radically changed. Pretty much all of my health issues that I was dealing with went away. And we'll go down the list really quick. So IBS, severe depression, severe anxiety, back pain, really, really bad sleep to the point where I don't know if it was sleep apnea or sleep insomnia or what it was. But since I was a little kid, could not sleep for crap. All that's changed. Wake up at a normal time now without an alarm, all that stuff. Skin got a lot better. I did take that was the biggest change I know. It took the longest was the skin to get better. Hair's gotten better, nails gotten better. My gum health got way better. My gingivitis, all that stuff. I used to have gloves. My gums would bleed and stuff, so that's all gone. Everything's gone. It's insane. It's insane. So all of those things gone away, but as a trade-off, I only can eat meat.
or, animal products per se. Okay. And I feel the best on ruminant meat. You might hear that a lot in the community. So that's kind of the trade-off for me. So I think it is worth it. At this point, I wouldn't be doing it still if it wasn't. But I have been thinking about it a little bit recently because I have been having some struggles. And I'll kind of get into that. And it's something I've been battling. So early on, I would say the first 6 months, the majority of all my health issues got cleared up. Or 80%, 90% cleared up. Okay. I'd still have some bowel issues here and there, but it was like very, very rare and night and day difference. So very early on, I started feeling amazing, like amazing compared to what I was feeling in the past. And now that I've been feeling amazing for several months, I'm starting to notice little things that I could even further improve on. Okay. And so one of the things that I've noticed, or one of the things that I've really been struggling with is muscle cramping. So I get muscle cramps a lot in my legs. Actually, I've been recently getting them everywhere almost. In my abs, my abs cramped up. That was really painful. I've had my neck cramp up, my calves, my hips, my hamstrings. I've had my hands, I've had a lot of things cramp up over the last few months. And I would imagine it has a lot to do with the coffee, because I know when I cut back on the coffee or go a few days without it, my cramps aren't nearly as bad. So I do think that is a big player in it, okay? But it's one of these sacrifices. I really enjoy my coffee. And I use coffee as essentially a butter delivery system. It's pretty much what it is. I'll pretty much almost have like a stick of butter every day between my few cups of coffee. It's a butter delivery system. That's how I look at it. So that's one thing that I've been struggling with is the cramping. And I've noticed that I have to drink at least a gallon of water. I try to get close to a gallon and a half every day. If I go under a gallon, then I'm definitely feeling the cramps, especially if I'm having coffee. And then kind of the other thing that I've noticed too is a little bit of skin issues lately. And I don't know how to describe it, but I've been getting almost like a rash, like along, what side is it? Right here. Along this under part of my eye, I've been getting this kind of like this rash. And I don't know what it's from. I don't know what's happening. I cut out a lot of other things in my environment too. Like I'm starting making my own laundry detergent and everything, trying to get chemicals out of my life. Stopped using fluoride. I started supplementing with iodine to make sure I'm kind of getting the bromine and all the other stuff out of the system. But I've started to notice this little rash on the side of my eye here. Not sure what that's from. Okay. So really, there's only been a couple things that have kind of popped up since Carnivore started that I wasn't really dealing with too much beforehand. And I would say dealing with those two things is worth it. It really is. The cramping is the worst thing ever compared to the rash. I'll deal with the rash all day, but the cramps are a nightmare. And I really do think it's just a matter of me having to cut back on my coffee. I did notice though, when I started supplementing with iodine, the cramps went down significantly. And because I was taking I'm taking 25 milligrams of iodine a day, and that's potassium iodine or potassium iodide. And I think, just a speculation. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'm thinking that maybe the fact that I'm getting so much more potassium on a daily basis is helping with the cramps a little bit. I know it's usually a magnesium thing, not a potassium thing. The other thing, and I probably should have brought this up. I didn't think about it, but I was starting to get a heart thing going on recently, and it happened before Carnivore too. But I noticed my heart would just start racing randomly. It would just be sitting down, and all of a sudden go to 180. Right. I know I need to go to the doctor. We'll look at it. And that was happening more and more, in conjunction with the cramps. So I'm wondering, is my heart cramping, or something like that? Obviously it's probably not just that, but what's going on? I was trying to figure it out, and I started taking iodine for other reasons and things like that. And the racing heart kind of went away. It's really only happened one time since I started taking the iodine. So I'm wondering if maybe I was a little deficient in potassium, deficient in magnesium. I could very well be deficient in some of these micronutrients because the fact I'm drinking coffee. All right, I'm just kind of going to go with that. So really, those are the only real negative things that I've kind of experienced since doing Carnivore. The heart racing thing, that actually was happening before Carnivore, so I'm not even going to really attribute it to Carnivore per se. But it did kind of get a little, I don't want to say worse, but more frequent. And I think part of that is just the fact that I need more micronutrients. I don't know. So those are the things that I've been kind of dealing with over the past 10 months. And some of the big changes that have happened to me over the past 10 months, some of the improvements, I would say, as a matter of fact, it's radically changed my life. Like, it saved my life. And I don't, like to say that lightly. I'm not, one of those people like, ooh, look at me. But I was in a really bad spot before I started doing this, and this was kind of my last ditch effort to try and fix a lot of things going on with me. And when I had mentioned, it fixed the mental health stuff, like the depression, anxiety, that was very, very bad stuff. Like, I was struggling with that for over a decade, and it was misery, like pure misery. And that went away. Like, it just straight up went away after 3 months, like just gone. I'll be honest, that alone would keep me doing this. If I still had to deal with all my other health problems and it only fixed my mental health, I would probably continue carnivore. It would probably still be worth it, which is the question of the day. Is carnivore worth it? I think so. I think feeling the way I feel and feeling as good as I feel, and I'm actually quite optimistic that I'm going to keep feeling better because I'm going to keep trying to improve on the things that I'm putting in my body. I would like to stop doing the nicotine gum. That's something I'm really trying to, eventually give up here and kind of work out of my life. All right. Coffee, I would like to give it up. I'll be honest. It kind of makes me feel like shit at the end of the day. I feel great in the moment. I got coffee right now and I feel amazing, but I know for a fact in like 4 hours, 5 hours, I'm going to feel like crap. And I start to notice those things a lot more now that I'm doing this carnivore diet. So it's definitely something I want to kind of phase out as well. So I'm optimistic that things can keep improving, and we'll see how the next few months go. I want to kind of start doing more videos on updates, things that are going on in the community here, or at least with me, with my experience with carnivore. I'd like to actually get some more of you guys on. I want to talk to some of you and maybe do some interviews, things like that, have some discussions on the topic. I'm really curious to hear some of your guys' stories. I've had several of my friends or coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, you name it, starting to implement some of the carnivore keto stuff in their life, and they've actually started to see very, very strong results. I don't really know anybody who's gone as strict as me right off the bat. But it's hard. It's hard to go strict. It's hard to kind of completely change your life, especially if you have family and kids and you have all of these things. But, really at the end of the day, I just watched this video by Homestead How, and he was pretty upset. I think this was an older video, but, just about the fact that we're being so lied to and manipulated in our world, really. I was going to say our country, but really in the world when it comes to proper nutrition, proper diet, our species appropriate diet, what that's supposed to be. There are people and companies literally just making billions of dollars off of making you sick. And I don't think it's their intention to make you sick necessarily. It could be because then they make money on the back end with the medical products and things like that. But I think people are just another number to a lot of companies, and in a lot of these places that they'll sell you food that has zero nutritional value to it because they know you'll buy it and make them money. Just looking at the way the world is today versus where it was 100 years ago, it's pretty clear that something in our environment is killing us and really, really affecting us. And I am fully convinced it's our diet. I think there's a lot of other things, but I think the main foundational thing that is really affecting humanity today as a whole, all across the world, is what they're putting in their bodies, what they're eating. So that's kind of been my experience over the last 10 months. I'm curious to know what you guys think. This was kind of just off the cuff. Didn't write any of this down. Didn't, make a script or anything. I just wanted to kind of free ball it here and just chat and talk about why the carnivore diet's worth it for me. So let me know in the comments down below. Is it worth it for you? How long have you been doing it? What are some of the struggles you're having? And I guess, what are your kind of thoughts on it? Is it something that, you're not very that strict? You're kind of dipping your toe in the water and you're still not seeing results, and therefore it's not worth it for you? Or are you going head first into the water here and, you've seen a lot of results and it is worth it for you, or vice versa, or a mix of the I'm curious. I want to know. If you have any other suggestions on topics we should talk about here, please let me know. I'm very interested in putting out some more content around these topics. So that's all from me today. Hope you guys are having a fantastic and blessed day. Go get yourself a steak. Go get yourself some eggies. And hope you guys are having a good one. Peace, love. Catch you later. Cheers.